So a movie like this is like casting is everything. The success or failure relies on finding incredible characters like Jared. And clearly you had a more, I don't know if it's more difficult, but it's certainly, Spellbound is the classic teen competition documentary, and they had to figure out who was likely to win. That's who we're going to follow. You needed to find people who you felt were going to bring these kind of full stories. And how did you find Jared?
So we did something different than a lot of competition documentaries do. So most competition documentaries, they go to the competition, they film the competition, they figure out who wins, and then they cheat the beginning of the story and they film the winners on the way there. And I didn't do that. I did the harder thing, and thankfully my producers believed in that process, because I was like, I'm not doing that. I have to do something else. And it's a lot harder to do what we did, which is I wanted to figure out who was doing the work that would make a difference in the long run. And so we approached it through this like really big lens. We walked in and we went to the science folks at the Society for Science and the Public, who hosts the fair, and we asked them to put us in touch with all the science fair directors all over the world. And we said, who's doing an environmental project that's coming up?
Oh my God, that's such a huge job, though. I mean,
no, it was insane. It was insane.
It truly was insane.
No, it was insane.
And the schedule was insane.
And the schedule was insane. So thankfully, these beautiful people backed me up on that.
Are insane,
like myself. And we basically did a data dive. And so we looked at we went back and we looked at like 5 years of projects. Which countries have like a kind of predominance of doing environmental projects. And a lot of countries around the world, especially in the developing world, it's like 50 to 60% of the projects are focused on having an environmental impact. When you come back to the States, it's like 10 to 15%.
That's interesting right there.
We can talk about that more later.
Okay.
It's very meaningful.
Note to self.
That discrepancy. And then we went to them over, was like, who's doing this kind of work? Can we talk to them? And then we sent out field producers in the country. So we contacted local documentary producers in the country to go and interview the kids on their own.
I feel like you could have done an ISEF project on this.
We could have. It was a data dive.
Go ahead. Yeah.
And then we sent out as well. Sometimes we had our supervising field producer go to the country and interview a lot of the students on the way there, and then we had like a kind of like a working list, and then it was a matter of figuring out the math, which is we needed geographic diversity, cultural diversity, gender parity. We needed compelling personal stories. We needed young people who were okay with being on camera and giving us the kind of access that we needed, and that was how we made our final decisions. And it was heartbreaking, of course, because there was like plenty of like unbelievable students who we didn't get to cast in the film. And then we followed them before the fair. So I didn't know when I went to ISIF if anybody would win. I mean, I had absolutely no idea. So when 2 of our 4 students did win, 2 of our 4 teams won, we were crying with the families. I mean, we had absolutely no idea. It was... we took a bet on them, but we used a science advisor who vetted the projects on the way in to just kind of say, this is solid. Right. And so we felt confident, but I followed them because I believed in them and because I believed in what they were doing and why they were doing it. I didn't follow them because I knew they were a winner. Because to me, the larger story is why they're doing what they're doing and that they're asking the right questions at the right time. Because we're living in a moment in our history right now where we really need to up our observational skills and basically say to ourselves, what is happening in the world around us? And how can we do something about it? And how much attention are we going to pay to these issues? And so when you find young people who have the courage to do that, I find that just unbelievably inspiring.